Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into something that is literally rewiring the global financial system. We're looking at Keeta Network, a platform stepping up as the ultimate bridge to the digital era for global finance. If you've ever found yourself frustrated by just how slow and fragmented moving assets can be, well, you're going to want to stick around for this one. I want you to imagine something for a second. What if switching banks was actually as easy as changing your cell phone carrier? Right now, legacy finance is just packed with friction. You fill out endless forms, you wait days for transfers to finally clear, and you probably pay fees just for the privilege of waiting. But Keeta is building a seamless future where all of that friction completely disappears. To see exactly how they're pulling this off, here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with modernizing global finance, then look under the hood at how Keeta works. After that, we'll cover your universal digital passport, simple tokenization, and finally, the zero liquidity revolution. All right, let's jump right into Section 1, Modernizing Global Finance, and how we finally move beyond the blockchain trilemma. For years, early blockchains have been kind of stuck. You know the classic trilemma, trying to perfectly balance decentralization, scalability, and security. Traditional networks like Ethereum get bogged down with crazy gas fees and rely on delayed rollups just to save space, which slows everything down. Meanwhile, something like Ripple moves fast, sure, but it relies heavily on centralized control. It's literally always been a compromise. Well, enter Keeta. They're achieving up to 10 million transactions per second, with settlement times under 400 milliseconds. To put that into perspective, that outpaces not just other blockchains, but legacy payment systems by an absolute mile. They've essentially solved the trilemma. You don't have to choose between speed, security, and decentralization anymore. And the best part? This isn't just some white paper theory. This speed unlocks massive real-world applications right now. Take institutional partners like CFSB, for example. They can hold tokenized US dollars for near-instant cross-border settlements. We are talking about securely moving millions of dollars across the globe in the exact time it takes you to blink. Okay, let's dive into Section 2 and see how Keeta actually works under the hood. If you stack Keeta's underlying architecture up against the current heavyweights, the contrast is kind of wild. Ethereum has the high fees, Ripple has the centralization, and Solana requires these massive hardware bottlenecks that literally cause network downtime. Keeta bypasses all of that. They use a built-in rules engine and a delegated proof-of-stake consensus to keep things moving without any of those hardware headaches. So what's their secret sauce? It's something called a directed acyclic graph, or DAG data structure. Now, if a traditional blockchain is like a single-file line at the grocery store checkout, where everyone waits their turn, a DAG is a multi-dimensional web. Transactions process in parallel. It's basically like opening up 10,000 checkout lanes at the exact same time. Because everything runs in parallel, you get this massive throughput and super fast finality. But here is the real game changer. No mempools required. In older networks, mempools are basically these crowded waiting rooms, and you have to pay premium fees to skip the line. Keeta just gets rid of the waiting room completely. Huge volumes processed simultaneously and for fractions of a cent. And this fundamentally changes how the network scales. Most traditional blockchains tightly couple their software nodes to the physical servers, meaning if you want to upgrade the hardware, the node has to go offline. Keeta separates them. They can scale up vertically and horizontally under immense load, which means zero downtime. Ever. They're literally swapping the engine out while the car is flying down the highway at full speed. Moving right along to Section 3, your universal digital passport. This is where we look at the human element, how you and I actually interact with all this tech. It all starts with a simple key pair. Now, I know cryptography can sound dense, but just think of it as a personal, unforgeable stamp. Your private key stays safely on your device. That's your secret signature to authorize things. The public key is the lock that you share with the world, so anyone can verify, yep, this transaction definitely came from them. This creates a beautifully simple workflow. Step 1, you generate that single key pair. Step 2, a trusted provider attaches a verified KYC, know your customer certificate, right to your public key. And step 3, you share that key to instantly open multiple bank accounts. Keeta essentially acts as your universal digital passport. You verify once, and you are entirely done with those repetitive, endless onboarding forms. But wait, these aren't just static, boring PDFs. Keeta uses a dynamic rule engine for these certificates, so they hold KYC, creditworthiness, and licensing data that update in real time. If your address changes or your credit score shifts, the certificate updates dynamically on its own. Institutions get a perfect real-time risk assessment without doing any manual digging. Now, what's really interesting is Section 4, Tokenization Made Simple, focusing on the asset side of the equation. Let's look at the current industry standard for a second. On Ethereum, creating a token means writing complex external smart contracts, deploying them, and praying you didn't mess up, all while paying heavy gas fees for every little interaction. It's clunky. Keeta flips the script completely. Tokenization is baked directly into the native network layer. You don't need external chain code. It's incredibly fast, secure, and dirt cheap. Because the tokenization is native, you can attach built-in rules directly to the asset itself. We're talking geographical transfer restrictions, so a token literally cannot be sent to an embargoed country. Or setting administrative approvals for massive transfers, and even time-based locks. It's automated compliance built right in, which is absolutely crucial for companies wanting to instantly launch targeted rewards or even central bank digital currencies. Which brings us to the climax of the explainer, Section 5, the zero liquidity revolution. This is where we see a fundamental shift in macroeconomics. So I want to pose a massive macroeconomic question. How do banks settle huge international transfers without tying up all their physical cash? Well, historically, they couldn't. Right now, banks have billions upon billions of dollars parked in dormant accounts around the globe, doing absolutely nothing, just waiting to facilitate daily settlements. It's a huge, expensive drag on capital. Keeta's zero liquidity model fixes this, and here is how it works step by step. First, the network issues uniquely tracked tokens backed one-to-one by physical assets. Then, banks just trade these digital tokens back and forth instantly, settling digitally without touching the physical cash. It's only at step 3, when a user actually prompts a withdrawal, that physical settlement happens via local rails. Finally, the digital token is burned. So banks can continuously trade in the digital realm, freeing up billions in capital because the physical cash only moves at the very end of the line. When you combine the DAG architecture, the digital passports, the native tokenization, and the zero liquidity model, you really start to see why the heavy hitters are paying attention. Just listen to this from Eric Schmidt, the former CEO of Google and a Keeta investor. He said, Keeta is orders of magnitude more scalable and efficient than existing solutions. I mean, it's hard to argue with that level of technological validation, right? So as we wrap up today, I want to leave you with this provocative thought. Keeta is currently building an unprecedented real-time graph of global financial activity. The speed is there, the tools are there, the compliance is built in. The question is, will legacy banking actually adapt to this high-speed, zero-liquidity future, or are they just going to be left entirely behind? It's going to be a fascinating space to watch. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I'll see you on the next explainer.